Out there in U2 land, we're doing a different breakdown today. This time we're going for a long gun. And a long gun I think most of you are very familiar with, at least from history, if not in person. And we're just going to do a quick, simple breakdown. We're not going to do the history. I will point out some interesting details as I go through this. But let's have a look. What do we have today? All right, you guys might already recognize what we're looking at. We are looking at a K. I'll flip it this way so it seems to look a little more normal to you on screen. We are looking at a K98K Mauser. Mauser. There you go. Model 98. The numbers don't lie. The big thick metal butt plate. Flip it around. Give you guys another look at this. Big thick butt plate. Blah, blah, blah. Short shed workshop. All right. So, before you do any sort of work on a rifle, check it, make sure it's clear. Magazine's empty. I can feel the chamber, it's empty. Continue pulling out on here. Out comes your bolt. That's the first part. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this aside and we'll work on the bolt first. How's that sound, guys? So here's the bolt. You got your safety. You got your extractor. That kind of purplish hue thing there. That's your extractor. You got lugs. There and there, 2 lugs. And the third lug would be your bolt handle, the way it locks in place. And let's have a look at this, shall we, in more detail. So the first thing we're going to do when we get the bolt out, we're going to rotate the ejector. Hang on, guys, I'm going to pause. I'm tired. Alright, so we're going to start with bolt disassembly. First thing you want to do, put your safety flag halfway position. Now you can extract your bolt. Up on the handle. Pull it back. This is your little catch that holds everything in place. Once that comes out, you are good. Removing the extractor. You can see the extractor can rotate. So what you want to do is move it towards the rear lug. So now it's lined up with the rear lug. And this is a spring. Oops. This is a spring, so you can push down. You can see the flex. And then you push down. Push down. And struggle. Ow. Part of the problem of having this is greasy. Down. And gunsmith's helping hand. Okay, I'm going to do it a different way. Sorry guys, my hand's going to block you. So rotate it down. It's a spring. Push it on the spring. Ow. Get under the nose. Pry slightly. It's a much more efficient way than some of the other ways I've seen. A lot of people will try to do without a tool. But we are better than monkeys. We have tools. We use tools. And so that part's out there. Now you want to take the back part off. And this is where the key is, this safety flag. I've done it by mistake where I've removed it without messing with the safety flag all that much. There we go, some better light for you guys. So you push in on this plunger here. Push in, rotate. Push in, rotate. And now you have a spear gun. Or at least what appears to be a spear gun. A spear gun. The bolt itself, there's really not much left on that. You can see straight through, there's nothing in there. There's nothing up my sleeves but hairy arms. That little part there, you don't touch that, leave that in place. That's where the extractor connects to. So, set that aside. And now we're back to this little bolt assembly here. This beautiful little bolt assembly. Okay, so now we got this guy out, as you saw. Now this is where you use your takedown disc. There might be one drilled in the back here. This is a transitional. I have the big butt plate, but I still have the takedown disc. Really late wars will just have a hole drilled through here. Makes a lot of sense. The only reason why this exists is simply to protect your firing pin from being damaged when you go through the disassembly process. So now you stick that in the hole, as so. Let's see if I can get you a different shot here. So what you're doing now is you're about to pinch your fingers off, is what you're about to do. Compress the spring. And mess things up. Alright, that just flew off unexpectedly. Now you got that piece off. You can take your spring off. You can take your firing pin, and that's all one solid greasy piece. That's one of the reasons I'm having trouble with this. This thing I well oiled because I'm not planning on shooting a lot of 8mm Mauser. There's your safety. Safety flag comes out. All this is a cam to pull the bolt back. You have your little plunger there. You get the plunger out. Of course, you guys don't want to lose your parts. Make sure you keep those in a safe place. Push it till you see this little T shape there. What you want to do is push it until it gets into the middle of that T. Ow. I do not have tough hands lately. I don't know what happened to my hand toughness. Sorry guys, this is an extreme close-up. And I rearranged all my cameras so I'm not used to my angles. You see it's starting to move over. This is under a lot of spring tension again, like everything on this rifle seems to have a lot of spring tension. Just keep moving it over. And out comes your little plunger for disassembly. That's it for the bolt. Let me rearrange the bolt for you so you can see exactly how it goes. So there's your bolt. Relatively straightforward. It's a lot of spring tension, but when it comes to part count, it's quite low. It's an incredibly complicated little part there for manufacturing, not for disassembly. I'm going to put all that aside, and we're going to move off to the actual rifle, or raffle, if you prefer the word raffle. Here we go, back to the raffle. Cleaning rod. You can take that out. Just like you would expect you need a bunch of these to make one. I don't know. Whatever. It's for cleaning. It's not for clearing, so we're all good, aren't we? Aren't we? Aren't we? Push in on this spring if you can. If you can't, get a punch. Use a punch. Push in. Ugh. Of course, it doesn't want to come. Get a bigger, fatter punch. Sorry, guys, if you can't see, what is wrong with my angle? Let's go to camera 3 and readjust camera 3. So what I'm doing is I'm depressing the spring here. And I'm not getting any movement, of course. Pause. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the bottom plate and trigger. Cool things about a lot of these rifles is they have these locking screws here. You see there's 2 of them, and it's simply so it doesn't come loose by mistake. Simple. A lot of people would say overkill. I will say nothing. Except for, let's get this thing out of here. Need a narrower bit. There we go. So, you don't need to completely remove the locking screw, but I will. One locking screw. There's also one at the back. You can barely see it. It's right there. Two locking screw. Before I go any further, I'm going to remove the magazine plate. Oh, sorry, you guys, you didn't see that. Darn it. So to remove the plate, there's a little spring detent here. Push down, push backwards. Out comes your bottom plate, your follower, and your spring. Okay, now that that's out, we can take out the last screws. It's an interesting little design, I would say. Take out the back screw. Quite a bit longer than the front screw, keep that in mind. There you go. To remove this, if you want it to, there's a pin here. You just got to knock it out. I'll show you how to do that. Pardon me for a minute while I get us. So you can see there's a little pin right there. Sorry, my hand's blocking it. Let's try number 2 here. So if you want to remove that detent there, you just knock that spring out. Problem is, this is a lot of spring pressure. Remember I was saying everything on this gun seems to have an excessive amount of spring pressure. But I guess the German philosophy was too much is not enough, which is also why it takes them 12 years to build a single tank. All right, going back to this guy here. What we want to do now is take this nose cap off. But I can tell you one thing already, this nose cap is stuck. To get the nose cap off, what you want to do is push down on this spring bar here and then slide the nose cap off. I've been having trouble with this, so I'm going to pause and not watch me suffer. Although I know you guys probably enjoy watching people suffer, your YouTube audience. So I'll be right back. Alright, the magic of what's happening. Nope. Maybe? So what I've done... I can't get into the shot. So I pushed on the pin there, and then I put a punch right there and started. Start it. Okay. And then I put a punch there and you just lightly tap, 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 tap. You're not wailing on this thing. Guns don't get wailed on. So back to what I was doing. So you're putting it in there like that at an angle. And off comes the ring. Oh, one other thing. Go back to the long shot for this. This rifle shouldn't have this hood protector on here. No, I just took it off. It's a little bit marred. It shouldn't have had it in the first place. It's spring steel. It looks the part on a Mauser, but this is a very early Mauser receiver and barrel. So it actually doesn't have the grooves cut in to fit the sight protector. A nice thing about the older ones is you can take these parts directly off. So next part I want to remove is the second band swivel here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pin out and take the barrel lug, the bayonet lug off. There we go. That relieved that spring tension there. Well, I actually didn't take it all the way off, but that was the plan. So now I can take the barrel band off. Now to get the lug off, you literally just punch that pin out there. I will show you how to do that. I'm not a big fan of doing things like this simply because when you're working with something this old, wood, there's a high probability of cracking something. I like to use as big a punch as possible that fits. I'm going to switch off to a smaller punch. Alright, that doesn't want to go, so I'm going to try it from the other side. Going a lot smoother on this side. There you go, your bayonet lug assembly. And your pin. That's now all wood on the front. One thing you cannot take out and do not take out. Oops, hit the wrong button there with my... Hit the gun. The gun's doing the editing now. Don't take out your recoil lug. Do not do that. I'm not going to go any further than that. Yes, it looks like it's meant to be removed, but do not remove it. Flipping over to the other side. This has got a later style butt plate on it. It's got one screw. Get that out of the way for you. The other thing you can't remove, you cannot remove the takedown disc. I mean, butt plates are kind of butt plates, right? There's not a whole lot to see here. One screw there. One screw here. Nice chunky wood screws. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. There you go. Off comes your steel butt plate in this case. And that is a strip stock for a K98. Okay. As going back to the barrel and the barrel assembly, I'm not going to go any further. Well, okay, I'll go further on this one. I'm not going to take the side out though, because I'm tired of dealing with springs. But you have a spring there, you push down on the spring, and your sight will come out, essentially. But I'm not going to do that on this one. You can look that up a little bit further if you want to. You can see the trigger mechanism there, the way it's supposed to work. This is just held in place by, as you can see, pins. So go ahead and grab your punch. That's too big. Pins coming out the other side here. Oh, and I dropped it. I hate doing. Got it back. Wasn't that hard. Now when I pull this out, this whole thing's gonna want it. There you go. Just one more pin here and the trigger will come right out, but there's your trigger return. That's your sear that interacts with the catch on the bolt, which is too disassembled to show you how that works. Alright guys, we're going to go back to reassembly at this point. Reassembly is reverse of assembly, right? What you want to do when you're reassembling something is to get the holes to line up, you use a punch. Now everything's in place. Ow! Ow! That was the tiniest little piece of metal that got me. I'm gonna back that out. I want to drop the pin in. Oh, I guess one thing I forgot to show you guys too. The bolt disassembly is just this here. We'll show you that real quick. So the bolt takedown lever. Got a very pointy pin to help guide everything in place. There you go. There's a little spring under there as well, but for the most part, that's disassembled. Back to here. You can hear that dunk, 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 dunk noise as opposed to tap, tap, tap noise. That tells me that I'm tapping up against the frame here. So close. I'm going to get a larger punch. Almost poking out there. Almost there. Okay. That's back on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it back into, well, actually let's get this part back on before I drop it anywhere. So that's the extractor as well, by the way. That little fin there. That's the extractor. And it's also spring loaded. And it's all part of the same spring that keeps the takedown biased in one direction. It always seems to go much faster when you have music to listen to. So, but YouTube won't let me listen to music. They won't let me. They control my life. And if you think your wife gets mad at you for peeing on the toilet seat, wait till you get YouTube angry. Back on. All right. I have no idea what that was. Probably something important. Yes, it was. It was the part I have to install next. So next we're going to put this guy back on. But before I can do that, we need to draw. Oh, I'll give you a nice actual close-up of the inside of the stock there. All right, that's enough of that. Goes back in like so. Trigger through the hole. Goes on like so. And you want to grab your ugly bolts. Remember, the long one goes in the back. All you want to do is get you want to get it tight and then just back it off a bit so you can get your lock screw in there. I'm going to do the front one now. I'll show you by backing it off. Snug it down. So you can see there's a little moon shape right there. I want that to line up, so I got to back this off just a hair. Now I can pop in my lock screw. Like so. And the lock screw on the back, which is really hard to see, but fits right in there. Yeah, that's the best I can do for angles on that. But you've seen one on the front, you've seen them all. All right, that's on like so. We can flip her back over, flip her around. So next thing we want to do, well, we can actually, yeah, let's do this. Put the top handguard back on. The swivel, no, it's not swivel, the whatever you want to call it. All right, now we're gonna have to put this back on. And as we remember from before, yeah, this is the way it wants to go in. One side is slightly more rounded than the other. And when you get close to the metal like that, you see it's sticking up a bit. So when you grab your big punch again. You want to be careful, because what can end up happening on something like this, you can blow straight through this side here and have wood coming out there. You don't want that, obviously. A little proud, it's a little too proud. There we go. Popped right down. Just like I want it. Alright, so the next part is this swivel here. As you can see, it's got a hole in it. Right there. That hole goes over that little bit there. Alright, so we're almost there. The simplest things are always the hardest things. So you can see now, or not, you can see that it's almost, that little plug has to go into that hole. So, let's go 3, push down on the spring, which is not easy to do. Tap. This part, reassembly is a lot easier. If you're worried about damaging anything, which I'm not, but you can use a punch. Now it's back in place. You're not going to hear any major snap, ping, ping, or anything that really clues you in you got it right. Alright, so that part's back on. We can put our magazine plate back on. Magazine plate goes on. Push down, slide forward. You are good. buttstock. All right. Helps if you use a screwdriver instead of a punch. All right. Okay, rifle body is reassembled. Time for labort. So first thing you want to do when you're reassembling labort, safety flag. That little plunger there goes back in. You can actually get it to turn a little bit with your finger. There you go. That's your little safety lock there to keep everything from disassembling itself. Ugh. Ow. All right, so I did that one thing you don't want to do, which is reassemble with your flag anything but in the neutral position. So what I have to do now is, there we go, just like that. Push down, bring your flag back up into the middle. All right. Now slide this guy right back in here. And remember, it's threaded, so it just screws in. Lift, lift, bolt reassembled. Well, not quite. Got to do the ejector. So just like disassembly, you got that lug there. You got the lug there. And you have front lugs here. And you have that catch. That catch, this little rotating piece, snags this little piece here. There we go. Tricky part is just sliding it over there, and once it's there, you can see this little groove. There you go. Your bolt is back together. Slide your bolt. Ugh. There you go. And since I have it here, shall we find out what the trigger pull is on this? The first stage is about 4 pounds, 6 pounds, 6 pounds. One more. You can really feel it at the 4 pound mark, which is right where my finger is there. A little bit shiny, but There's the first stage, about 3.5 pounds. Second stage, 6 pounds. You talk about consistent. That's a very consistent trigger pull. Oakley dokley. We'll go over this and maybe some details. We'll look at the markings, explain what a Russian capture is in some detail. Maybe we'll do it with a different weapon other than this. But this is a very interesting rifle. A lot of people poo-poo Russian capture stuff because there's very little matching parts. It's hard to say what does match. This has a serial number of 5,000. The stock's got 5,000, but whether or not the stock and everything's been together forever, I don't know. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you can learn something and use something from this video. I'm going to try to, again, like all my other videos, cut them down. I think so far we're about an hour into this, and we'll see what we can do. Please like and subscribe. If you like more of these breakdowns, there are more to come. Right now, I am tired, and I am done shooting for today. I had more planned, but I'll have to save it for another time. All right, guys. Boom. Thank you very much. Please like, subscribe. I need subscribers. You guys have been great, as usual. Any questions, any comments, please leave them below. I'd love to hear from you guys. I do enjoy reading them. Haven't really heard any negative ones, but oddly enough, I kind of do like the negative ones. Go figure. They're kind of entertaining, right? I like to laugh at people who take things like this a little too seriously. So if you're one of them and you feel like making me laugh, go ahead and leave a comment. All right, guys, thanks again. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the comment areas, and hope you look forward to the next video. Thanks again. Have a great day, everyone.